Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to take a look at Acts chapters 7 and 8. This is one of the most powerful sections in the early church history. It's Stephen's speech. Stephen isn't just giving a history lesson here. He's actually showing Israel and the church at large something that's essential. God's movement has always been bigger than any building, any system, or any tradition. Something we could probably wrestle with in our own culture today. For the first believers listening, this was a pretty shocking reframing of what they had understood. The temple was the center of everything for them. But as Stephen points out in his message that God called Abraham in Mesopotamia, he met Joseph in Egypt, he appeared to Moses in the wilderness, and he filled the tabernacle long before Solomon ever built a temple. The point? God is always ahead of his people, calling them forward while they often cling to what is comfortable and familiar. This wasn't just a theological point, though. It was exposing a painful pattern. Every time God sent deliverance, Israel resisted it at first. Joseph's brothers rejected him. Israel grumbled against Moses. The people ignored the prophets. Stephen is saying here, this is the same story unfolding all over again. God sent his Messiah, and you missed it. For the early church hearing this, it was both sobering and clarifying. Following Jesus would mean embracing God's forward movement even when others resist it. When Stephen is killed, becoming the church's first martyr, the message becomes even more clear. The gospel is worth more than the life of the messenger. It's actually worth dying for. As we move into chapter 8, Stephen's death unleashes the first wave of persecution. The believers scatter, and as they scatter, they preach. It was actually one of the greatest things that could happen to the church. Opposition doesn't stop mission. It often will accelerate it. One of those scattered believers named Philip, who heads into Samaria. This is a huge moment. For centuries, Jews and Samaritans avoided each other. But suddenly, Philip is proclaiming Jesus right there in the midst of the foreigners, air quotes there, and the Spirit shows up with tremendous power. The gospel is breaking through old barriers, old hostilities, old categories. Jesus isn't just for one group anymore. He's for the world. We also meet up with Simon the magician. We also see Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch, right? This story is about a man spiritually hungry but culturally excluded. If you read, he's reading Isaiah on the desert road. The Spirit sends Philip not to a crowd, not to a platform, but to one specific person. And that person becomes the first known African convert to Christ. For the early church, this was a jaw-dropping moment. The gospel is going farther, faster, and wider than anyone imagined, and it all started with one person. So if we end this today with a question of who is your one person, and you just might open an entire culture to the message of the gospel. Be well, friends.